Welcome to my channel that I mostly rehearse my ideas for my other channel. My other channel is the Timothy Damage channel if you want to check it out. I take a little bit more time editing video and throwing in some clips that might be pretty helpful for, it might be pretty helpful. I'm not really sure because the thing is that well, anyways, let's get into this. So, it was last year, around January last year. I really think it was January. Up to that point, I was going to the thrift store with my best friend multiple times. The thrift store is my little, I guess it's a guilty pleasure. Some people that are at the thrift store actually are there for reselling. They're resellers. So they're actually trying to find the come up for really super cheap that they could sell. If you ever go to these thrift stores, even just the Salvation Army or Goodwill, sometimes you'll see someone with their cell phone looking up certain items to see how much those items are worth. You know, I ain't mad at them. As a matter of fact, I am a big Lego fan, and I have a habit of finding bulk Lego and buying the bulk Lego and sorting it out and trying to find those items, those Lego pieces that are worth some money. But the other thing is actually trying to find a market for them that people will buy them for whatever the price. But yeah, of course, I'm going off subject. This particular day in January, a year ago, probably a year ago, my nephew and I went to the thrift store. This thrift store will keep the high dollar items behind the counter. Well, at least the items that they think is going to fetch some good money. This thrift store over in North Hollywood has a lot of overhead. They have a lot of employees working at any given time. Maybe 8 to 16 employees will be there at the same time. So I could only imagine how much money they have to bring in to pay for their employees. So again, it's all a business thing. This particular thrift store in North Hollywood supposedly does donate a certain amount of the money to the Veterans Association. Actually, the Vietnam vets. So the Vietnam veterans will get a portion of it. I mean, I'm not even sure how it works out because the fact of the matter is that it's all business. So, you know, when you kind of get to understand how business is, you could be at the business end, or you could just be doing the business. So, again, it depends on who you talk to will determine, like, the whole aspect. But, of course, I just want you to have, like, a understanding. It's a good build-up for the day that my nephew and I went there. So, he saw a metal case. Well, maybe it's not metal, but it was made of some hard plastic case behind the counter. I usually am not that curious because my vision is really limited to finding that big bag of Lego behind the counter that might have some really unique pieces and minifigures inside that maybe I could make a couple bucks back. Because if I drop $30 on some bulk Lego, I need to at least make $40 off of it somehow. I mean, that's my limited understanding of the business end of certain things. So this particular day, behind the counter in the box was a drone. Yuneec Drone. If you're remotely interested in seeing any of the footage, you need to go to my Timothy Damage channel And that's where it's going to show some of the footage and music from the drone. Because to my surprise, that drone was very, very good operating drone. It came with everything to make that sucker work, which was pretty cool. We did have to drop probably maybe $50-$60 on a brand new battery, because unfortunately the Yuneec drones have a bad reputation of batteries swelling up, batteries blowing up, all that stuff that, you need to have a good operating battery for it to work, for it to get altitude. And the oh my gosh, the communication between the remote control and the drone and everything, it does get a little glitchy after a certain amount of distance, but for the most part it was working wonderfully. So the drone was marked, I kid you not, the drone was marked at the thrift store for nearly $600. I mean, I did drop $125 on a Lego roller coaster that was only missing one bag, which wasn't like a bag of common parts, because the track is the most unique pieces in that box. But that's kind of down the road, way down the road. I think that was over almost a year later when I found that. But the whole idea of this story is the drone and how the drone worked. And the drone was marked $145 on the box. And on top of it, that day, that particular color sticker was on sale for 50% off. So I was able to get that drone for $75. It was a risk, because when you go to the thrift store, you're taking a risk. It's like if you find a Lego in a box, it looks like it's brand new sealed, it's very possible it'll be missing pieces. As a matter of fact, I found a Gundam robot in the thrift store. It was marked, I think, $25. But that day it was on sale for half the price. I still bought it. It was missing a knee. It was missing a knee joint. So you take a risk when you buy from the thrift store. But when I found that drone that day, it was pretty cool that it worked. I've got a lot of video footage that I'm going to share with my Timothy Dama's channel, my other channel, the Interworld 75 channel. So if you want to go over there and check it out, and meanwhile, you can subscribe to this channel, or you can share this video just to talk about, just to share with somebody about the thrift stores. You can find some amazing stuff at the thrift store, but you have to have the discipline to know what is good product or what's not good product. So be sure to do your research. It's like with everything. There's money out there to be made if you know your product, if you know certain things. For the most part, I think I know Lego. As far as selling the Lego, that's a different story. But it all comes down to having too many hobbies. Some hobbies you can make money off of, some hobbies you can't. So let's be reasonable and rational about the hobbies you take up. If you're doing hobbies just for fun, if you're afraid of being bored, I'm sure, just like in my song, there is a lot of other things you could be doing with yourself that's more productive, that's more good use of your time. Like, I had a female friend tell me that I should be working out more. I think after she told me that, I worked out for maybe a week, and then I already fell off of the workout program. But you know, it's just about discipline, and it's about what you want to do with yourself. So again, drone flying is fun. Unfortunately, drone flying has a lot of rules and regulations, especially when you live in the city. You can't fly within 5 miles of an airport. I've done that. You can't, there's certain signs and stuff that you'll see when you're out about, like, oh man, this would be a cool place to fly and get some video from 300 feet up in the air, which would be pretty fun, because there's certain things that you would love to see what it looks like from 300 feet, 400 feet. I think the highest I've had the drone, well, actually my nephew and I were flying it. I think the highest we've taken it was nearly 1,000 feet. But it gets kind of scary when you're flying that high and you can't even see the drone anymore. So it's nice to have a visual on the drone when you're flying, just to see where it's at. Even though some of the people will say, oh, you got to learn how to fly the drone from the camera. Yeah, it's a whole nother level of flying. So when you're out flying the drone, if you're fortunate enough to find a really good working drone for a good price, you know, how often you're going to use it, I don't know. I haven't flown the drone since probably Christmas time. So you can watch that video of me flying the drone on Christmas. So yeah, it's a cool hobby to have, but it's not for everybody. It could be expensive, and finding replacement parts is not that easy. Because as a matter of fact, my nephew did crash the drone. He was trying to do a swooping kind of video of just like a swoop of the area, but yeah, it ended up crashing. So the blades got damaged on it. Because the blades are powerful. I was landing in the yard where I live, and it was cutting up the bushes like nobody's problem. You know, the blades are like a weed whacker. It's like weed whacker blades. So yeah, I can imagine if you got hit by that drone, you probably get hurt. So it ain't for everybody, but yeah, it's a cool hobby.